Hey, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Shanice. I am a sewer and a creator, and yeah, welcome to Designer Maker Shanice. So today's video, this is part 2 to the thrift flip fail video. So I actually managed to finish the top and managed to fix it, so now it fits very well. However, the bust is quite small. Apart from that, it actually fits so much better, and I feel like it looks so much more accurate to the original design than it did before. So I'm just gonna share with you guys the process of how I managed to fix the top in this video. And definitely I learned a lot from this thrift fail. First of all, definitely next time I am buying a bigger shirt, okay, and I think definitely that will give me more material to be able to like experiment with and stuff like that. Yeah, this is going to be the final reveal. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think it looks more accurate to the design? Do you think it looks much better than before? Definitely, like I said, I removed, so I had to do a lot of unpicking. I removed the lace trimming, so now I think it looks more accurate to design. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah. So the first step was to start unpicking the waist seam and the lace on the neckline. I didn't show me unpicking the top because I had to do a whole lot of unpicking. So I unpicked the neckline, took the lace off, then I unpicked the waist seam, and this created two halves of the top. So that was the top half, and this is the bottom half. So I wanted to work on some of the stitch detailing on the bottom half of the top. This was to make the final look more accurate to the design that I was going for. But first thing was fixing the sleeve. So here I'm just flat laying the top onto my cutting mat, and then I'm just going to start to work on the sleeve. So I'm now going to shorten the sleeve. The original sleeve was just way too long, so I decided to shorten it by about 8 centimeters. So here I'm just marking my measurement, and then I'm gonna draw it out and then cut it, and then I'll do the same for the other sleeve. So after cutting the final length for my sleeve, now I'm going to start preparing some elastic for my sleeve. So in the original design, there was like detailing on the sleeve, ruffling detailing, but I decided to just add elastic instead. That way the sleeve would have a lot more stretch, because when I made the top before, I didn't add any elastic to it, and the thread just ended up breaking, and it just was not practical. Depending on how tight you would like your elastic, you can do it half the sleeve length, or you can do it to 3/4. I tend to do it to about 3/4 of the sleeve's length. So here I'm just cutting 2 strips of elastic to put in each sleeve. So now I'm just getting ready to start sewing my elastic. I tend to make a circle with the elastic first, so I'll stitch it together. I tend to use 2 stitches and a back stitch just to keep the stitches really strong and prevent them from breaking or snapping. And then once you kind of form a circle, then you start to add your elastic into the sleeve. Now, people might have different ways of doing it, but how I do it, I tend to just fold the sleeve over and then kind of like insert it in and just start sewing as I go. And then you just pull your elastic along and then keep folding, kind of like turning the sleeve in about 1 centimeter, 1 or 2 centimeters, and then yeah, that's it. Then you just keep going, keep sewing. So this is the final look of the sleeve. I think it looks so much better than what it looked like before. So now that the sleeve is done, I'm going to start working on the bust. I'm going to make the bust more fitted by raising up the waist seam. So I will be taking some material off under the bust. So I decided to take off, I think it was about 7 centimeters, just make it about 7 centimeters like shorter, because the waist seam was just not fitting under my bust at all. So now that some of that is going to be taken off, it should definitely be more fitted. And yeah. So now that the waist seam has been adjusted, I noticed that the top had these 1 centimeter seam stitches on the bottom half of the top. So I'm gonna now replicate that idea, because I didn't originally create those seam stitches in the beginning of when I first started making the top. So all I'm gonna do is just create two 1 centimeter seam stitches, and this will help make the top a bit more fitted and a bit more fitted at the bottom as well. Now it's all pinned and ready to sew. So now I'm just going to sew my 1 centimeter stitches. At this point I couldn't be asked to like remove the lace yet, but I did remove it at the end. But yeah. So whilst I was at the sewing machine, I decided to add some gathering detailing to the waist seam, because there was a lot of cutting and adjustments involved. It ended up making the top half and the bottom half of the top not really match accurately. So I decided to add some gathering, that way I could manipulate the width and be able to make them fit together. So after gathering them, I just started to pin together, making it match as I went along. Now that the waist seam is now together and recreated, so now I'm going to start to create a back seam. I originally had done a back dart, but it just did not look right. It looked very, very weird. It didn't help the fit of the top at all. So I decided to then just do a back seam instead, and that's what I'm going to start to create now. So I started this by just folding the top in half, and then I realized that even though I was creating a back seam, the measurement was still going to be way too big for my back and not fit my back well. So then I had to take off an extra like 10 centimeters of the back. That way the back would be more fitted to my body. So now that that measurement's done, I'm then repinning the back seam and getting ready for it to be sewn. So here I'm sewing the back seam, and I'm also sewing all the stitches that needed to be just refinished. So all the side seams, anything that needed to just finish off the top, the neckline, the hem, anywhere that I had unpicked and just needed to like restitch again to finish off the top. So I started with the back seam. Then I started to work on where the placket is, reattaching the placket to the front of the top, the center of the top. So now I can recreate, I can be able to like button up the top and everything. So I'm just stitching that up as well. So after sewing everything and finishing off the top, now the final details and the final thing is to overlock the whole entire top. So all the seams that needed to be overlocked, that way the material wouldn't fray, and finally finish off the garment. So my top ended up looking from this to this, and finally this is the final look and the final fit. I think definitely this looks so much better than how it did before. I'm glad I removed the lace. I think it looks so much better without the lace. As you can see, I did the back seam. The back seam is so much more better fitted on my body. You can now see the detailing of the neckline on the back and at the front because of fixing all the seams. So unfortunately the bust was a bit tight, but definitely the sleeve looks better. Adding those stitches, seams at the front of the top also made it look way more fitted. And yeah, overall I think the fit looks a lot better than what it did before. Does it look like the original design? Let me know guys what you think in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.